You're on.
I'm on, okay. Most of us probably don't have houses at this point of our lives, but one day we will. And you're going to want a nice yard. It's very important to have a nice yard, and I'd like to tell you 3 ways, 1, 2, 3 ways to improve your lawn and garden. First of all is landscaping, followed by sprinkler system and maintenance. 3 things. Before I get into the 3 things to improve your lawn and garden, I want to talk about the impacts of having a nice lawn and garden. First of all, it improves your quality of life to have a nice lawn. After you get done building it, you feel accomplished. And another reason that people tend to put landscaping in their yards is because it puts some space between you and your neighbors and gives you some privacy. So, first, we'll talk about landscaping. So here's your house, and here's your yard, and here's your fence. Please excuse my drawings, I'm not an artist. And here's your neighbor's house. And your neighbor has a pool. He has more money than you. And he's also a redneck, which is, I don't know how that goes together. And he likes to tan in the nude. So it's imperative here that, for the sake of your children, that you have some trees, some landscaping here, so your children won't be scarred for life as you were. So, maybe before I get into landscaping, what you should do is you need to go to a supply house and you need to see your options. If you only know about a juniper and a pine tree, well, it's going to be pretty boring. So you go to your supply house and you find out what trees there are, what plants, because there's anything ranging from, like we know, you go to Home Depot and they got those little flowers, to 5-gallon buckets, to trees, to big trees that are 300, 400 pounds. So you have to know your options. And then you have to know what the plant requires. If it requires shade, if it requires half and half, or if it requires full sun. So you decide you want a tree here, and here, and here, and here. And then you want a garden. And then the rest will be sod. Okay. So now you need a sprinkler system. So all of this is it's very simple, but it's very time consuming. That's why people hire someone to do it. So to start with your sprinkler system, you take your water out of your house, and it's called a backflow. And every house is required by law to have a backflow so that the water doesn't come out of your house and then seep back into the town's water and contaminate it. So it's this little, here, I'll draw it over here. It's about 2 feet tall, comes out of your house. Has anyone seen that? Yeah, it's not very good. So anyway, that comes out of your house, and that's your water. And so you start here, and your main valve is right here, and that's what powers all of the other valves. So you're gonna want to water your garden, your lawn, and your trees. So that means for the most part, you'll have 3 valves for that. So you take the water out, and you go to a central valve box where you have 3 valves. So from here, when you go to Home Depot to buy your parts, each sprinkler will have its coverage. So depending on we'll just say that this is pretty simple. So depending on your coverage, we'll just say here you need 4 heads. One here, 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 and here. So you take from your first valve, go over to all your sprinklers. Pretty simple. Then from here, you water your lawn. And then from here, you water your trees. Now this is, I'm going through it pretty quickly, but it's kind of common sense, just as far as how you cover your heads, and that's why I'm not going into detail in that. And one key thing to note is when you put in your main line, which is the line that goes from your house to your main valve. It needs to be deep, a foot deep, so that you never hit it again. So then, your secondary lines, which are run your heads, they're not as important, so they can be 6 inches deep. So, all your parts can be found at Home Depot, and they're all labeled, so it's actually very easy to come up with your own sprinkler system. And next is maintenance. And so, after you get all your trees planted, you're going to want to make sure that when you buy the tree, it has a tag on it saying how much water it needs. And you're going to want to make sure that you're checking your trees and your lawn and your garden every day so that it doesn't die. As well as you want to check your the town's water restrictions because of the lack of water in Colorado. And you can actually, it's a pretty big fine if you break that rule. So the maintenance part, you check your water often and your regulations. And then it's a good idea that you fertilize everything. You can fertilize your garden, your lawn, and your trees. And that helps it grow and become strong and healthy. Then it's imperative in the wintertime that you blow out your system. Otherwise your pipes will crack and they will freeze. And that is never good. It's a lot of money. Another thing is you can put straw and mulch down on all of your, where the tree comes in contact with the ground, your garden. And if your lawn is actually still in the seeding process, then you can put down straw. But if it's actually grass, then you wouldn't want to do that. And lastly in the maintenance section is pruning. So all your trees, it might not be something that you do in your first year, but after that, you want to prune all the dead off, and it'll come back even stronger. And those were my 3 ways to improve your lawn and garden, and the impacts of them. Thank you. Oh, I have a video. Almost forgot.
We can still give you.
It's not the neighbor's sunbathing.
Huh?
It's not the neighbor's sunbathing.
It's bigger than his pool.
Let's see if Rick is on my face.
Okay.
Illustrations are not to scale.
Stand in there.
Okay. How am I doing on time?
Yeah, you're out of time.
Okay. Will I still get the 8 minutes? Will I still get my time
Yeah,
requirement?
Yeah, you're at 8
Okay, then it's
You
not.
got it. All right. Thanks for sticking in, guys. Everybody who went today, come up and get your...
Stop it.
Yes, thank you.